soaking this all in, wondering whether I should even stand. I guess I'm a racist and an extremist and didn't do anything on this bill that you have to do to get legislation in place. And I guess I was in a committee hearing that I was hearing something different or saying something different. I guess I'll have to go back and watch that again. This bill is coming forward for a couple of simple reasons. And that is, if you take a look, the bill says it prohibits the state from infringing on the fundamental right of parents to direct the upbringing, education, health care, and mental health of their children without demonstrating that the infringement is required by a compelling governmental interest of the highest order as applied to the child, as narrowly tailored, and as not otherwise served by a less restrictive means. So why is this bill being brought forward? Well, I guess, as some people in this chamber have said, it's because there's this small group of extremist parents that want us to destroy everything in sight. I don't know, I represent over 30,000 people, I guess. I represent them all, no matter what their views are. Too many parents right now feel they're being ignored by school personnel and school boards when they're expressed an interest or concern about the educational upbringing of their child. This is in response to that experience. Yes, and I read the article that someone made an open records request for. And I guess if you don't ask the author a question about anything, you can write whatever you want and infer from my emails whatever you want as well. The other point I guess I'll make is that if I sit in a committee hearing and I believe something should happen to a bill, I don't think I ever said that I wouldn't entertain any. I think I asked several times in the committee hearing, if you have something that you believe would strengthen this bill, feel free to bring it forward or to put an amendment through. But then again, the one reason that inspired me to bring this forward with, and I have a pretty thick skin, so I can take the personal attacks with the best of them, was my experience with a family in my district. And you can talk about everything you want in this bill, pick out certain things that you believe fits your narrative. But if you take a look, each individual part in this bill says the parent has the right. Doesn't mean it circumvents anyone else's rights, but the parent, the family, has a right to all 16 things that are related in this bill. I will point to two that I went through with a family in my district, and that's number 12, access to locally elected school board members, and number 16, which was brought up, receiving accurate and individual information from the child's school. Why was that important? Because Quinn, the student that was in a advanced manufacturing class, was prohibited from going on and taking courses from Gateway Technical Institute because the teacher failed him twice on a project. The parents invited me to, and I went to the conference that was held with the district superintendent, the principal, a counselor, the parents, and oh yes, they brought in a police officer who I knew. Anyways, what really surprised me was the father is a veteran. I was really disappointed in the way he was treated by school administrators, and the fact that their decision stood even though they were told that the teacher was going to help this student. He then brought in and produced something that was rather enlightening from his employer, which stated that Quinn had the talent and expertise on their manufacturing floor that in some cases was greater than the college students that they had hired to do similar work. But, however, because he struggles a little bit with some of the computer-related pieces of the class, and evidently the teacher may have had some kind of personality conflict with him, he was prevented from going on. The parents sought answers from the administration, but they were told the superintendent makes the rule, and that's it. And so that's why in this bill, there is a request to go forward with a process as well as putting some teeth into the availability of a legal action if it's required. This bill puts things in place so that parents feel that they are on equal footing with the school districts and schools that their children attend. And the parents also went to the school board and asked for answers. And once again, we're told we're not going to address this. That's why parents feel frustrated. And I don't view them as totally right-wing or trying to undermine any type of educational process. They just wanted answers and the ability to raise their child. With that, I'm going to just close with one thing, because I agree with those that have stood up and said, I have no desire to have the school or someone else within the school raise my children. I want information so that I can deal with subjects with them so that they can participate in their school to the extent that they can learn and expand their horizons. I don't want to be ambushed by there are subjects that are going on that they bring home and say, what is this? That's what many of these 16 rights say. I'm going to quote something because many people in this body love to point to other states. There's a state that borders us to the east, and in their statute language, 380.10, Section 10 says, it is the natural, fundamental right of parents and legal guardians to determine and direct the care, teaching, and education of their children. The public schools of this state serve the needs of the pupils by cooperating with the pupils' parents and legal guardians to develop the pupils' intellectual capabilities and vocational skills in a safe, positive environment. And so I'm hoping that this bill will be a step in the right direction along these same lines. But evidently, I also, as I listened, I didn't realize that a group of attorneys was an extremist right-wing group. And I guess when you don't have anything else, you just label something right-wing. But I wonder, by the people I'm being lectured about being inclusive, I wonder how the children that attend school, that are children of those attorneys feel by having us stand up and tell the whole world that their parents work for a, quote, right-wing extremist group. Oh, and by the way, I did the due diligence in this legislation, made all the decisions around what should be in the content. We had a number of analysis, which I have here, and had other legal firms take a look at it as well. And if you don't think we need something at the state law, you should take a look at the 55 pages of potential federal legislation that's coming up. Mr. Speaker, I believe the vote is green, but I'm sure there will be some that will disagree.